Today I want to have a look at answering a question that a lot of people ask me and all around. So how to get data to build a soccer betting model. I think it's easier than most people think, and also cheaper. And I will show you a few ways to do it. It might work on other websites as well. I'll show you 2 or 3 websites, but the principle will be the same. So let's say let's shoot directly let's start directly with sharing a screen and opening our favorite notebook. Right. Cool. So we have a notebook here. Should be able to see it in a while. Yeah. Cool. So what we're gonna do, we're probably gonna see a few things. Right. So what we're gonna do is we're going to use requests and scrape some data from some, let's say, unofficial APIs of football leagues. Serie A, legaseria.it. Right. Okay. So we have something here like, for example, statistics by team, but let's see the statistics by player. Let's close this video player. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff. Goals, assists, of course, but also something like penalties scored, the own goals, red cards, yellow cards, minutes played, lost balls, many times substitutes, subs in, subs out, and more and more. Why I know more? Because if you go to, I need to check. Yes, you should be able to see developer tools. And you go here. I have I'm on Firefox, and you go to network rete. Okay, and you'll be able to see all the calls that have been made by the Serie A API in the background to get the data. And if you order them by the amount of data transferred, right, and something like that, you should see these calls that look like team, season ID, and something with API inside. All right. So here you see the call that has been made, which is called something like legaseria.it, API stats, teams, season ID, Serie A, football season, some kind of random string, category general, order by, corners, won, directions, and so on and so forth. And you'll see the reply. It contains this object. It's called data, with the competition, pagination, and all the teams. And you have the team Lazio, for example, country name localized, country code, and so on and so forth. Now, this is for the teams. What we want is for the player. So if we again switch to calciatore, which is, it means player, you should get a here it is, players season, Lega Serie A, stats general, and so on and so forth, ordered by goals, directions, and so on. We could use these ones and like simply copy pasting the URL, import requests, which we use to make the request. We'll also import pandas because we want to format the data a bit better way. And in the end, with R, we'll just save the URL and examine it a bit just to be sure. What are we doing? It's of course HTTPS, Lega Serie A, API stats v3, general players. Whatever comes after this is our parameters, like season ID, Serie A, football season, some kind of string. We don't need to know what is that. Category general and order by assists, direction, descending, and page number element 5. So I had a look at this a few days ago, and I think that the best way to play with that is to just save the parameters and use the base URL. So you will have URL like this, base URL. You will have a few parameters that are exactly season ID, category, and so on and so forth, like this. Order by, for example, through balls, and you specify the direction, the page, and the number of elements on the page. So how many elements will be returned by that, by the call. And then you just go get base URL and specify the parameters like this. Params equal params. We call this the response, and we execute the cell. And hopefully, response should give us a 200. Yeah, fingers crossed. A 200, wonderful. What's in the response? We can check the text, or we can just turn the response directly into a JSON. And apparently this is exactly a JSON. Now what do we see here? If we just make it JSON, it should be a dictionary with all the statistics of the Serie A players, ordered by through balls. Clearly, there is a few technical information about the request, if it's successful or not, or are the eventual errors. It's the message, the API call request time. So it's at 6th of March at 14:35. The competition ID, and so on and so forth. The provider of the data, Opta. And the players. I think that the most interesting one is players. So bib number of the players, Nicolò Barella, first name and last name, player ID, PNG, which is probably, I mean, if you copy paste this into your browser, you should be able to get the big face of Barella here. Play medium shot. Let's have a look. What is that? It's always interesting to look at these images. You can always like a program. Oh, okay. So this is a bigger shot of Barella. Wonderful. So you'll have all these shots of the Serie A players that you can basically get from these URLs. He looks older than me, Barella. Wonderful. Player slug, provider ID, role label, midfielder. So what we can do is just have a look at players. So, for example, we can save data, is resp.json, and then we'll just check data players, right? So we execute this, we check what's data players. Oh, data players, okay, data is resp.json, data, let's say what are the keys of data. Data, okay, data, and probably data. Let's have a look at the keys of data, and the players. Perfect. So if you check data players, they should contain all the players, statistics and information. Wonderful. So now players should be 50, should contain 50 elements. So if we check length players, should be 50. And what we do for each player. So let's again have a look at the first player. So players 0. This should be Barella. And let's have a look at a few properties of the player. So, for example, you want to build if you want to build a data set, right, which has all the statistics of a specific player, so of all the players of the Serie A, you probably want to have a look at the last name, if we first name as well, okay, or directly at the short name. Yeah? Looks like the short name is more like a compact representation of the play ID, the label, the role label, and then all the stats. Okay, the stats will be stats under a dictionary inside the player, and we can say stats dot to represent let's say the to represent the dictionary elements, and we can have a look stats application. Wow, so cool. So stats is basically a list, and for each of the stats there is minutes played. Okay, wonderful. Stats, then it's a list, and what we want the minutes played. Let's say the minutes played is a good stats, and then there is stats value, which is what we're interested in. So stats minute play, the stats value is all for all the stats, contains the value, and the stats label contains the label. Perfect. Okay, stats label, and stats value, these are in the list. Cool. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do for a player in players, we are going to print the short name of the player, so pla, short name. We're gonna print the role of the player, pla, role label. Wonderful. And then for as in stats, so pla stats, we're going to print all the stats. Print something like stats label. We're going to print them all. Stats label and the value, right? So S stats label, S stats value. Stats value. Perfect. This you should print, stats value. And let's print something like after every player, like this one 40 times. Cool. Stats label. Oh, yeah, comma. I meant, what I really meant is an F string that I prepend F, then there is this and this and colon and execute. Let's see. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Still going on, but now we see Nicolo Barella, midfielder, games played, minutes played, goals, assists, scoring attempts, and all this bunch of wonderful stats. Distance covered, average distance covered, total distance covered walking, average distance covered walking, wonderful duels, unsuccessful dribbles, corners taken. Wow, so much stuff, and we can save all of this into data frame, right? Left side passes, total successful passes, decathlon. This is wonderful. XG efficiency, whatever that means. But these are all the statistics that are available for all the players in Serie A, taken from a simple API call to the Lega Serie A website. Like, for example, we've ordered by through balls, so we expect Barella to be the one with the highest number of through balls, right? If we have a look at the through balls only, let's see. through balls. 15 Barella, 13 the second De Ketelaere, 11 through balls for Pulisic, and so on and so forth. So we've ordered them by through balls. Let's say that we want to order by another statistics, like for example, XG, maybe offsides. I don't know, something interesting like goal, assist, interception. I'm very curious about the total distance covered. We might be able also to make an API call that just gets the top 50 players by total distance covered. Let's see if that works. It might not work, but it's worth trying. Looks like it's 200. We have the data, we have the players, and now let's just look at short name, first in player stat. Let's see if as stats label, right? We don't want to print everything. It will be very messy. We just want to see if this worked by the total distance covered. So if we only select the stats, there is total distance covered, and if the stats total distance covered, then we print the stat label and its value. So we see if those are actually in order as we expect. It's not. It's not. Doesn't look like it's in any kind of order, so that wasn't successful. Interesting enough. Maybe you can't really order by all of them. You can only order by some of the statistics. So through ball probably was one of the ones we could order through. So if we replace through ball here, yeah, through balls 15, Barella, De Ketelaere 13, Pulisic 11, Reinders, Martinez, Paz, Leao, Castellanos, Quara, are still there, or Fofana, McTominay, Strefezza, and so on and so forth. So yeah, but this way we can also do something like save this data, right? We've imported pandas. Now let's save the data somehow. So how we go about that? So let's comment this. We don't care about the stats label anymore. We don't want to print really the stats label and the stats value. What do we want to print? I think we want to print some more data about the players. For example, the team. I want to know players 0. Yeah, the BIP number, the stats. Let's have a look at all the keys. I want to know the team, for example, right? Players 0, team, and then we want probably from here we want the short name, right? Is team fake? This team is not fake, right? Perfect. So what we want now is to do this. For plugin players, the short name, the role label, the team, and all the stats, right? We saved. Instead of printing, we like name equal role equal role label. Team will be plug team short name, and for all the stats we will save them. I think we will save them in we'll save them in a list stats, which we call stats. We initialize it before looping, and then we do stats append stats value as stats value, and append as stats value. And together with the stats, let's do something like this. Stats, we define it before. We define it just here. Stats append name, role, and team. So name, role, and team. It's terrible. I think I can do it better, more elegant way, but it doesn't matter right now. And we don't print anything. Right. Okay, so these stats will be initialized for every player. But what we want to do is, after we have gone through all the statistics, we want to append these stats to something like all stats, right? So we want to create a list that contains stats 1, stats 2, stats 3, and so on and so forth, for every player. So we have like this, right? Like this, right? So that when we save it in a data frame, it will look like a matrix of n columns, which will be n the number of statistics, and how many rows? 50 rows, because the number of rows is the number of players. So all stats we define here, that would be all stats of the players, and then we append to all stats which is stats of a single player that is initialized at every single loop. But looks like it worked super fast. Let's have a look at all stats. What does it look like? Yeah, looks like interesting. Now, what we want also is the columns of the name of the columns of the stats. So, for example, to get them, we can do something like we want the stats label, right? So we can do something like this: columns equal s stats value, right? For s in plus stats. So now what do we do here exactly? So plus will be the last player that we've looped, right? The columns will be the stats value instead of the stats label for all the stats in plus stats. And we can print them just to check that we're doing the right thing. These are the stats columns. Stats value, no, stats label, right? Stats label. Displayed, and so on and so forth. Look how many. So, and we want to add to this the name, role, the name, the role, and the name, the role, and the team. Let me check how would it work. What if I do something like? Name, role, team, like this, and then I sum it. Shouldn't. Then I extend this. name role team. Okay, let's look at the columns. Like this maybe. Yeah, and role team, maybe if I do like this, right? Yeah. Without extending or simply summing it. Perfect. So the columns is this. Name role team, which are the first three columns that you have initialized, plus the stats, and if we print the columns, we're here. We get them here, name role team. Okay, since every column has a capital letter, just do this, we capitalize everything, and then I think we're ready. We're ready to create our data frame. Our data frame will contain all stats as values, and the columns will be columns. So df equal pd data frame, and all stats. We said all stats, and the columns equal columns. Let's see if it works. All stat. There is an s too much, one s too many. Oi. Oh, very interesting. We're missing some columns. Wow, this is interesting. Let's just not give the columns. Let's see how it looks like. All stats. Barella, midfielder, Inter. Looks good. Kvara, Cancellieri, Cristante, Busio. More or less all there. Perfect. Looks good. So we need to check the columns and what exactly is going on here, why we have so many columns. And but another way to do it could be like to just save the stats as a dictionary, for example. Yeah, we should compactify stats as a dictionary, and then we should do stats like this. This will work. Stats name equal plus short name, stats role, and so on and so forth. Stats role equal plus role label stats. Wait. Yeah, let's close this. Stats team equal Latin short name. Perfect. And we don't need to append anything. For example, stats label, right? Should be equal to stats value as stats value. And what do? We append this dictionary, this stats dictionary, to all stats. To close this, right? And the columns we're not interested in it anymore. Let's just comment them out. And all stats looks like this. Okay, yeah. This is not needed. Let's rerun. Yeah, they look much better. Now, if we create data frame like this, we should have something very interesting. Cool. This is good. There is a lot of nuns, like because these are only valid for goalkeepers. So, for example, penalties conceded, there is no value, and we can turn that into a 0. On goal scored, if there is no value, and so on and so forth. But most of the columns will be filled. We will have the name, we will have the team, we will have the games played. We can order it by, for example, now we can order by the number of what we said, the total distance covered. Okay, so we have the data frame. And we can sort values, and we can do by equal, and we can do total distance covered, and we can say maybe descending. I never remember descending equal true, ascending equal false, reverse, ascending equal false. Yes, ascending equal false. And then we see that when do z, right, let's just look at total distance covered and a few other things. Going to z series, name, team, total distance covered, name, role, yeah. Minutes played also. Let's just leave it like this. So we'll see, yeah, going to z, the one that covered the most distance. Now we see that it's over the Ricci, second McTominay, third, and so on and so forth. Barella is only probably the 2, 4, 6, 8, 9th, Mkhitaryan the 10th. Wait, Lazio, Torino, Napoli, Parma, yeah, 2 Lazio players in the top 10. Guendouzi and Rovella. Cool. I think this was cool. I think we covered a lot. I've written a few books about the topic. You can find them on tropians.gumroad.com. I wrote how to build a soccer betting model in a weekend, soccer betting coding about advanced methods and methodologies, ways to build data science based models for soccer prediction, and build soccer betting model for Euro 2024, which you can adapt to any international competition, I would say. You can get them all for a super discounted price of only $25, the soccer betting bundle. Or if you're more interested about what's the content of the books, you can have a nice preview for free and have a look at the soccer betting intro to get a feeling of what will the books look like. Cool, thanks for watching. See you next time.